It's tough being a Spud, but for the last couple of weeks, it's been an absolute pleasure. 2 wins in 2 games, 6 points in the bag, 33 points on the board overall, and now looking up the table rather than looking over our shoulder, worrying about what's behind us. It was a tricky game today. You could feel it in the stadium. The crowd were up for it. Ipswich were up for it. They definitely gave us some hairy moments and a bit of trouble, but overall, a really good display, 4 goals, good performances all round, and things are generally looking a lot rosier. We'll have a look at what the big gaffer Ange Postecoglu had to say about the game. But first, let's get to the 3 main talking points of the match and discuss what happened there. Jed Spence, my God, what a transformation. From the kind of moody, sulky, immature kid that came into the club, he's now turning into a real Rolls Royce of a fullback. He played right back today, his favourite position. I thought, especially in the first half, he looked absolutely brilliant. He's just so confident on the ball. He's good with the ball at his feet. He takes players on. He's got a turn of pace. He's got a bit of nastiness about him, you know, and he's a pretty good defender. I mean, I said it in the video last week. I can see Jed Spence being the first choice right back by the start of next season. I do like Porro, but I've mentioned before, he's a bit selfish, can be a little bit inconsistent, and not a great defender. If Spence keeps playing like this, not only will he be Spurs' first choice right back, but he'll get into that England squad as well. Right. For all the good work we've done today, there was a lot of bad stuff in there again, and it all comes down to this philosophy, Ange's philosophy, plan A and plan A only, play out from the back. Now, a few times today, bearing in mind we were against fairly limited opposition, we gifted Ipswich several big chances by insisting on playing it out from the back, okay? Now, short passes, especially from Vicario, actually, who was surprisingly poor with his distribution today, but just taking too many chances at the back. Danzo gave away a chance early in the second half. We sort of controlled the ball. There were players around him. Rather than just get rid of it, hoof it clear his lines, he tried to get it down, play it. We got caught, Ipswich were in, and they could have put another one in the back of the net. So, you know, we've just got to mix up the style of play. We've got to know when to play short, when to play long. Like I say, we were up against limited opposition today. You know, you're up against the Liverpool or, you know, even an Arsenal, someone like that. If you try and play those short passes in and around your box every single time, they will get to you. They'll force you into a mistake, and they'll make a big chance for themselves. And as I say, against better players, against better teams, they're more clinical. They'll put them chances away, and we'll shoot ourselves in the foot. You know, teams know that they just have to push up high on us, you know, play a high press, and they will get some change out of our defence and our goalkeeper. And that's why it's even more crucial that Ange devises a plan B to mix it up a little bit. You know, kick it long for the first 2, 3, 4, 5 goal kicks. Confuse the opposition a little bit. Then, you know, when the game settles down a bit, then start to play, especially away from home. You know, Ipswich had a really fast start. The crowd were up for it. They were getting change out of our sort of, you know, insistence on playing it out from the back. And we need to cut that out of our game. Like I say, against bigger teams, we'll get punished. You know, got away with it today. And it is, I want to say the right way to play football, but you've even seen this season, especially this season, the bigger teams are starting to go longer more often. The days of the tiki-taka slowly being phased out. We don't want to get left behind. You know, and it is also really worth mentioning, 2 of our goals today came basically from long balls. You know, so it shows you don't always have to score the perfect goal, play the perfect football, tap at the back. Teams know they're going to get change out of us. Let's fucking lump it long. You know, lump it long, hit the target man. Tell's definitely not the right man for that, by the way, so might need to find another solution. You know, Scarlett won the flick on earlier, didn't he? So he possibly could be one until Solanke's back. You know, or Richarlison when he comes back. Definitely not Tell, he's too small. But anyway, let's lump it forward, you know, hit somebody, work off the second ball, and just mix up the play a little bit. You know, that's all I'm saying. Now, again, I don't want to throw too much criticism at the team today or any individual players because we've had a great result. We scored 4 goals. We were generally looking good. But Matis Tell, now, I gave him some praise last week. And, you know, I'm not gonna really get stuck into him because I do like the look of him. I like the look of the way he sort of wants to take responsibility. I like his bravery. I like the way he waves the other players on and insists that they press higher and with energy. I like all of that. He looks like a leader. But I think, especially today's game, has proved that physically he's not yet ready for the Premier League. You know, and if we do only have him on loan to the end of the season, and he goes back to Bayern or he you know, heads off to another club, we've got to bear that in mind because is he really worth using this much if he's not going to give us what we want? You know, he was anonymous today, completely anonymous. the centre-backs, the Ipswich centre-backs dominated him, really, especially Dara O'Shea. Just couldn't get any change out of him. Physically, he wasn't up to the task. You know, when he tried to come in and hold the ball up and lay it off, they were nicking the ball off him. They were sort of out-muscling him. Even when he did have the ball, he looked a bit unconfident. You know, he took a couple of heavy tackles today. Maybe it shook his confidence a little bit. It is physical in the Premier League, very physical. We all know that. So, needs to show a bit more, I think. As I say, I'm not going to get stuck into him because I do like the look of him, but we still haven't seen much of him ability-wise yet. You know, last week he was good against United. Today, completely anonymous. So he needs to improve. But, you know, let's give the kid a chance. So those were my 3 main takeaways from today's game. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's get to what Ange said about the game. I mean, there wasn't much going on in this press conference, if I'm being honest, but let's sort of analyse what he said anyway. Watch.
Yeah. I think he enjoys the wax. He certainly, he's been great for us since he's come in. He's really taken to the club, taken to the group of players, taken on the challenge. It's not easy when you're, coming into a new club, and we're asking him to sort of come in and almost be, a senior member. We still had 3 teenagers out there starting today and 4th coming on. So, it's still a really young team, but, I think Kevin's been a super addition for us.
Now, the only thing I really picked up on here, really interesting comment from Ange, and one that I really like the sound of. He says that Danzo's really taken to the club and really taken to the group of players. Now, that tells me that he's a big personality. He's walked into the dressing room, full of confidence. He's kind of settled in nicely. He sounds like a good lad. That's the sort of thing you want in the club, encourage and engender that kind of positive attitude in the dressing room, winner's mentality. And also out on the field, you can see he takes responsibility. He's an athlete. He don't mind taking a knock. He looks like a good player. I'm really, really pleased with him so far. And I did say it on the video last week. I'd be interested to see a Danzo Van der Ven partnership. Romero, great player as he is, great footballer. Never been his biggest fan for a number of reasons. I won't go into them too much today, but I think Danzo and Van der Ven could form a really, really great partnership, especially for the way we play, with the high line. We need a bit of pace for when the opposition stick the ball over the top and try and run in behind. Danzo's got a bit more pace than Romero. He's more athletic. Obviously, we know about Van der Ven. So, looking really positive and looking a good signing so far.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of Arch. Like I said during the week, we know he's playing out of position. We know he's kind of with running challenges, and he did out of, delapse a handful for anybody in this league. And first few minutes it caused him some problems, but I love that Arch takes on that challenge. He doesn't shy away from it. He doesn't hide. He keeps going. And as I said, we'll get enormous growth out of him during this period. But right now he's contributing to us. He's helping us. I thought we had to do some defensive work today. Not a lot, but the defensive work we had to do was important against, like I said, a real top striker, and I thought he handled it well.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say about that? Archie Gray, future club captain, what a player. He's absolutely brilliant. Essentially set up one of the goals today, really, with that long ball to Son in the first half. Brilliant player, absolutely brilliant player.
I mean, it goes to show you how ridiculous a notion it was to start with. 11, 12 games to go? Yeah, and you're saying we're safe with 12 games to go, and people are actually talking about it. But that's the hysteria that kind of, and that's all framed around sort of putting pressure on me and the club. And I get that when you're in that position, you've got to accept that. For me, it was always about trying to, we always had that sort of Villa Cup game as a marker for us, as we've got to get to that space as best we could. We obviously, didn't get the outcomes we wanted to during that time, but not through the lack of will or effort from the players. And they were always my primary concern, just protect them and support them, because they gave everything during that period. Now they've got some help, they've got some rest, and like I said, we're not happy where we are in the league. Obviously, it's unacceptable, but we've got an opportunity to address that now.
Yeah, nice response from Postecoglu. I mean, he's right to bat it away, I guess, and say how ridiculous the whole thing was, that we could possibly get dragged into a relegation battle. But at the time and over the last couple of months, started to wonder a bit about it myself. So, like I say, easy to brush off now, but we were looking really bad, weren't we, a few weeks ago? It's good that it's picked up. And fair play to Ange, he always stood by his assertion that once the players started coming back, the team's results would pick up as well. That seems to have come to pass at the moment. Like I say, 2 wins in 2 games, 6 points in the bag. Come on. So, yeah, let's see where we go from here. Okay, guys, that's it for this week's video. Like I say, it's tough being a Spud, but not for the last 2 weeks. 6 points in the bag, looking up the table. Things are looking rosy again. Europa League, here we come. Let's do it. Come on, you Spurs.